My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop game day faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and this is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 2, Walking a Tightrope.
Oh, okay, now it makes sense, because when I first saw the title of the episode, it didn't make sense, and then I didn't think about it again until you just said it.
I like the way they name their episodes because it's got 2 meanings to it. Obviously, there was the activity that they did in the episode, but then they're all walking a tightrope as far as like what they're saying to each other and the information getting back to one another. That's what I took away from it. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
Well, here's the thing. Is doing a ropes course, is that walking a tightrope? That's not technically the same thing, though,
now
is
you're just not.
I'm hammering
you have
into
to embrace it, Corey.
Yeah, it's from a broad sense. I get what they're going for. They're painting with a broad brush here.
They have to have creative liberties, okay? I feel like that would be the hardest job, to have to name episodes of a show. Sometimes they're just not very inspiring.
Yeah, especially if you don't have an overall story arc or anything that you're going with. That makes it a little bit tougher. But it seems like they do have an idea. They know where they're going with this season. We already have very clearly defined battle lines just from the first episode for a few of these folks.
Well, what's the description for this one? What are we seeing?
I almost said the TLC description, but it's the Bravo description. Well, this one is actually
much too good for TLC.
And I was going to say, this is actually the Peacock description, so it might be a little succinct in comparison here. But I have Lisa and Angie struggle with their friendship. Heather accuses Bronwyn of being two-faced. That's it.
Wow, there's really a strict character count limit on the Peacock app.
There must be. I should count it out. It's like the same amount as a tweet.
I was going to say, you know what? It's probably the same character count limit that there is on social, so that they just like use the same copy.
Yeah.
They're not going to come up with multiple things for different places.
That's too much work for ChatGPT.
Well, I have rewritten it, so we're going to get like the good full story out of my rewrites every week.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lisa Barlow goes full Gretchen Wieners. Meredith adds a special ingredient to her bath bombs. Brittany gets used for her Costco membership card. Heather underestimates how much the other women like flattery.
I think, yeah, for me, even just in the real description, when it's saying Heather accuses Bronwyn of being two-faced, she was being two-faced. It wasn't an accusation necessarily. It was pointing out.
No one agreed.
True, though. Yeah, I mean, there was kind of mixed reviews there. But from what was happening, it did very much seem like that was the case.
What did you think? This is only episode 2. And I'm just not used to the pace, being used to Sister Wives, where we're still talking about things that happened last season. Just there's so much happening. It's very exciting.
It's all very new.
So we open up and we have Lisa and Bronwyn, am I just going to call her
Brownie?
I really Win Brown. Win Brown. Wow, a lot of Sister Wives jokes this week.
Oh boy.
So they're going to pick up Heather to drive to a Wendy's and talk about the party.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my God, did someone give birth? That's a Tony and McKelty thing.
Stop. Okay, too many Sister Wives
I know,
jokes.
it's so much.
By the way, if you guys don't know, we have another podcast called Surviving Sister Wives, where we recap Sister Wives every week.
Yeah, because it's just deeply ingrained in there now. Everything that I watch is just seen through the filter of Sister Wives now.
Just part of who we are.
Part of the DNA.
Yeah, the Wendy's. That was getting some Diet Coke and some nugs. It kind of made me want to go to Wendy's.
They were throwing, yeah, and you can tell who the professionals are in this Wendy's trip because Heather is throwing around acronyms. Do you know what the JBC is at Wendy's?
No, the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger?
You got it. Yeah,
wow.
What are you saying? No, you know.
I could figure it out.
Of course. Context clues. We pick them up. You put them down, we pick them up.
I gotta say, I would never call it that, but I can understand it's a lot of extra words that you don't really need for someone else who's in the driver's seat, who's giving the order, who is very familiar with Wendy's.
It seemed like, yeah, Lisa and Heather knew the play. Bronwyn, this was all a very new experience for her. She probably had no idea whether to get a vanilla Frosty or a chocolate Frosty.
She did get a Frosty, didn't she?
I think so. Well, that might have been part of Heather's.
Because Lisa stuck to the Diet Coke.
Of course. And she turned away an extra Diet Coke, which I was shocked.
I know. I think they must have given that to her because they know she loves Diet Coke.
Or maybe the first one just wasn't crispy enough. They just knew. And so they were like, oh, let's throw another one. You can have
this one back. I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say maybe they were afraid that she was going to, fire in the hole.
Her explanation, though, was that her car didn't have enough cup holders.
And that's the only reason why she was returning this Diet Coke.
My issue with that is this is a very expensive car. This is a G-Wagon. We don't have enough cup holders so that Lisa Barlow can get an extra Diet Coke at Wendy's.
She should check. There might be one that's like lower on the door that you don't really know that it's a cup holder.
I'm pretty sure that if she went on Amazon, she could shop the car accessories and find another little extension thing that adds 8 more cup holders.
The little caddy cubby sort of thing that goes across.
She should sell them.
Oh.
That's a business idea.
Does Whitney...
And it's not a bath bomb.
Yeah, does Whitney already sell stuff like that, maybe? Are we stealing ideas now? What's going on here? That's how you can tell how old I am. My first car, I didn't have cup holders in my car. You know what I had a surplus of in my car, my first vehicle? Ashtrays. That's what I had.
That was the way it used to be. You couldn't indulge in things like Diet Coke. You had to stick to cigarettes.
Yeah, I just had to squeeze it between my thighs as I drove home very carefully.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
A lot of spills, a lot of stained seats. Wow, I really struggled to get through that.
Oh, boy.
Well, before they got to the Wendy's, though, it was just Bronwyn and Lisa in the car, and she gets a surprise call from Angie, but I love the way she set it up. Can you just can you shut up for a minute?
Pipe down over
Be quiet.
There.
I think she was nicer than that. Maybe.
Yeah, probably. But there was a motive that was there that seemed nefarious. I guess we'll put it that way.
From Lisa?
I feel like, yes. She wanted Bronwyn to hear what Angie was going to say. She saw who was calling, but she didn't want Angie to know that Bronwyn was there.
Well, it's very Gretchen Wieners.
Yes.
It's had mean girl vibes everywhere.
It's a 3-way call attack.
Oh, it wasn't that exciting. There was no tea being spilled in this call. It was basically just Angie saying, hey, would you meet up with me?
Yeah, she was pretty much just scheduling an apology appointment. That's what I thought it was.
That's what Lisa thought it was.
That's what Lisa was assuming it was. It doesn't turn out to be that, though. But she did schedule an appointment.
Lisa's still upset with Angie because Angie told Whitney what she said about the podcast that Whitney was on. Whitney wouldn't have known that information if Angie hadn't gone behind Lisa's back and shared it with Whitney.
Betrayal.
Major betrayal in the Housewives world.
A breach in the Fidelis.
She's not the only one who's upset, though. We've also got Mary. She's still pissed that Brittany assumed that she grew up poor.
Yeah, she's not going to let that go.
Don't ever call me poor.
It was weird that we had Mary's son in the kitchen with her, because it's, of course, it's post-fight episode, so we just have to catch up. There's like everybody rapid fire of telling their family members and spouses what happened at this horrible dinner where everybody was screaming at each other. And so Mary's son, who is just kind of like a real life version of Homer Simpson at this point, he's just very donut centric.
Were they eating donuts? I couldn't tell what they were.
Yeah, he was going hard on some donuts, and that box was very like cartoony looking too, that the donuts were in. But he was double fisting donuts, using a donut as a plate to catch the crumbs from his other donut that he is eating currently, which that's a pro move. I will give him props for that.
I don't think he hears anything that Mary says. He just agrees with her. That's how he learned to get through life.
So he's living at home with Mary. She admits he's a little sheltered.
Didn't he get married last season?
Was that a different son? How many sons does she have?
I don't know. I'm confused now. It was like a minor thing that was talked about last season.
Yeah, and I thought there was some...
I don't know. Mary keeps her life very secretive.
Very secret.
I'm surprised we even got to know that she eats donuts.
Well, she didn't eat any donuts. It was her son that was eating the donuts. Yes.
So back in the car, we've still got Lisa, Bronwyn, and Heather together. And Bronwyn starts going off and saying a bunch of stuff about what she thought about Whitney. And meanwhile, Heather's sitting in the back thinking, wow, that's pretty bold for someone who just became part of this group and they're so loudly expressing their opinions about other people that they barely know.
Well, and I think it was in response to Heather was kind of thinking back on what had happened and had the realization, a moment of clarity after this argument of, do you think maybe there was a possibility that we kind of ganged up on Whitney when we all started screaming different examples of how she's lied in the past?
I gotta say, she walked into that on her own.
Honestly.
Maybe don't act like you've never told a lie in your entire life.
And she kind of doubled down on that this episode too, because she still wasn't walking that back at all. She was saying that's still all their perceptions of things that had happened. And it's like, oh boy, we're still going to go with that? You haven't lied about anything?
Nope.
I guess not. But yeah, it's no. I think from our assessment, we can all agree, let's just blame Whitney instead. Everyone in the car is getting more comfortable with that idea here. I'm starting to worry, though, that Heather probably wouldn't like us, you and me, Carly.
Why?
This is what I'm saying. If she was concerned with Bronwyn's strong, harsh, immediate judgment after just meeting someone, that was what made her uncomfortable with
No,
this.
I have a feeling that Heather already didn't really enjoy Bronwyn the first time she met her, so now she's holding that against her. Also, you have to think about in the Housewives world, anyone who comes in and infiltrates the group and has the ability to turn people against each other, that's a threat. And I think Heather is perceiving that Bronwyn is pretty well liked so far by everyone, and that's the problem she has with her.
And here's the thing, too. In real life, I rarely voice my actual opinion. So I will carry all of this judgment around with me, but I will never let anyone know. I won't openly speak about it, especially with people that I've just met. So, okay, maybe we do still have a chance to be friends with Heather in real life. We can give that a shot.
I don't know. I don't think she's interested.
Probably not.
Well, where we leave it is Angie and Lisa are going to meet up, and Whitney and Heather are going to meet up. And now we're going to head to cooking class with Meredith and her husband, Seth.
Who are cooking in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, is that where they were?
That's where Seth has a new job here. He's been traveling around a bunch, but they've settled in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. I think Meredith probably just flew in for this date and then is right back to Salt Lake after this.
So this is the thing about Meredith is she doesn't have a house in Salt Lake City, which was the thing that Angie was all upset about in the reunion last season.
Maybe she does live in Columbus with him and then she just rents a place for filming?
She rents,
She's
which
a
they
renter.
find very offensive. So I don't know how much time she actually spends in Salt Lake, but I guess here we are. We're in Columbus. And we're making shakshuka.
Shakshuka?
Which you wouldn't like because there are tomatoes involved.
There was an egg, though.
Yeah, you put an egg over the top, and then it's like a dippy type situation.
I do like a dippy egg. I really do. No, Seth's vest is what is getting me in this entire segment here. It was giving very leather daddy.
Oh. Do you need to wear a vest to go cooking?
I would have been too hot,
Right?
personally.
It seems like you do that to layer up because it's going to be a little chillier than you expected. Maybe not in the kitchen. What was Meredith wearing? At one point, she had the apron on and I was like, is she wearing a suit under this?
A full pantsuit?
It had like very large shoulder pads.
Maybe she was inspired by the couture of the last episode. She's really expanding her fashionista abilities.
She's apparently inspired to do a lot of things as well, because the whole point of this scene is for Meredith to tell Seth that she is interested in having a bat mitzvah.
Okay, so when we had heard about the impending bat mitzvah storyline for this season, I had thought that Meredith was going to be throwing a bat mitzvah
No,
for
you didn't
someone.
understand that for herself.
I did not make that connection until she was telling Seth at their dinner.
Can I tell you, I am so excited to see an adult bat mitzvah. I think this is a
She's
rarity.
Doing it. Very rare indeed.
Seth is kind of shocked at first. He says it's because he's really touched by the fact that she wants to connect with her Judaism. But the truth is, it's because this is usually something that happens when you turn 13, not when you're a mature adult woman.
Okay, that was a very responsible way to finish that sentence. And I applaud you for that, Carly.
You know what I thought? I have no idea what age she is. With all of the Botox and fillers and the many, many surgeries she's had on her breasts, I can't tell.
Well, and Lisa, too, I think at one point she started to say mid-40s this episode, and then she had to kind of just mid-late 40s. So I think they're getting up there.
I cannot also wait to see Meredith Marks learn Hebrew. This is going to be very fun.
Oh, my God. Well, and this just seemed very, like, quintessential Housewives to me, where this is Meredith's response to the negativity that's seen in society right now.
It seems as though this is something that has been on her mind for quite a while, and she probably thought, well, that's a bit ridiculous because the time has come and passed.
Very long ago. And I think that was what she was saying, too, was that the times have changed because they used to not do bat mitzvahs when she was of age. When it was appropriate for her to have one, they weren't doing those things.
That is untrue.
Because it was
untrue.
The 30s, the 20s, I don't know when it was. So long ago, ages ago.
Anyway, I know for a fact that is not true of her age. I don't know about, where she grew up. It sounded like it just wasn't a tradition within their family, but...
Is she further along than we think? Is she pushing 70 at this point?
Who knows? They get a little bit emotional, the two of them at the end. I do understand that this is going to be not only fun for us to watch, but with everything going on in the world, it is very hard to be a Jewish person and display that for other people. And that is what they're going to be doing this season. So we'll see where it goes. If nothing else, watching Meredith attempt to learn Hebrew while on a bunch of pills is going to be a sight to see.
That'll do it for me. Yeah, that's going to do it. All right, so let's shift over to Angie and Lisa. We have their quick little lunch chat. It's not even lunch. It's a liquid lunch. They're just ordering a drink.
Lisa only got a Diet Coke.
Yeah, Lisa's ready to flex and bust out of here.
That was all the waitress could bring to the table. That's
barely,
as long as she was there.
Barely got there in time. And left Angie with the bill, too, so that was nice.
Well, what was it, $3?
Probably.
It was probably on the house because everybody knows the Diet Coke. She gets a lot of free Coke, something tells me.
A lot of free Coke?
Not that kind.
Okay.
Let's not start any rumors.
Right, rumor.
Angie completely blindsides her when she gets to the restaurant because this is not, in fact, a time for Angie to be giving Lisa an apology. Instead, she has come here to say, I felt ganged up on yesterday. And Lisa's not really here to hear that.
No, yeah, she wasn't really prepared for that. So she doesn't want to continue this conversation. So she's already looking for a way out. She kind of starts in with the excuses where everybody felt frustrated.
There was a lot of frustrated.
Not frustrated. Everyone individually felt frustrated by Lisa's assessment.
I kind of understand why Lisa's mad. Because Angie took something that she told her in confidence and then said it to Whitney, which if you're on this show and with this group, you should probably assume is what's going to be happening. But loose lips. And Angie's trying to twist this like, oh, well, I only told Whitney that so that she would know that she had to give you an apology. It wasn't because I was gossiping.
But it was kind of, it's a very thin line. It's a thin line.
I'm just not really believing the game that Angie is playing here, where she's trying to act like it was in Lisa's best interest for her to share that information.
Yeah, it was definitely not to Lisa's benefit. And that's what Lisa's saying. I just need loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. You need to button it up if I tell you something. And so now she's kind of withdrawing that. You're not going to get access to Lisa's information as much and as readily and as available as you had previously because you have shown you cannot be trusted with it.
I don't think Lisa talks about much that's very interesting.
No, it's just them talking over each other and then they're complaining about the other person not listening
I mean,
to them.
generally, when you have a conversation with Lisa, I don't know that there's much that you come away with that is particularly deep or interesting.
Yeah, this was a real productive convo. I would probably lump that right in with the rest of those there. It's Lisa just completely talking over any feedback that she's given, too.
Yeah, she does not take constructive criticism very well.
Not so much. Not so much. Yeah. I'm not yelling. This is just how I talk.
We go to Bronwyn's, and this was perhaps the most relatable part of the episode for me.
That she was dressing the dog?
Okay, but no, that wasn't what I thought. But now that you said it, okay.
I thought that was it.
Maybe this woman is a little bit more my spirit animal than I thought to begin with.
I don't like that.
No?
Yeah.
Well, first she regales us with the story of how she met her very, very, very old elderly husband, Todd.
If you thought Meredith Marks was old, wait till you meet Todd.
Was he wearing a shirt with a lizard on it? I don't know why that's in my memory.
I wouldn't put it past him, maybe. He was the CEO of Palm.
As in Palm Pilots.
Palm Pilots.
Some of you probably don't know what that is. It's not even a BlackBerry.
And even that,
we're going even further back.
Yeah, but he's not doing that anymore. Is Palm even still a company anymore? Probably not.
I don't know. You know what's bizarre to me? Her story about how she was a stockbroker?
Yeah, because now he's running a hedge fund in New York.
I was like, I'm sorry, how many lives have you lived?
Yeah, she's fashion and stocks,
I guess. So she met him somehow, and she thought that he was trying to offer her a business opportunity because he asked for her email address. She assumed, I guess, she was going to send her resume to him. And it's just because he only knows how to communicate via email?
He doesn't know. Yeah, well,
could you text on a Palm Pilot?
I don't think so. Probably not.
There you go.
Yeah, that explains it.
He's just brand loyal.
Yeah, he is email.
Not old.
No. He's just rooted very much so in email.
This house is insane. Every time they turn the camera, so the one room is insane.
Because there's just stuff strewn about?
It's like casino furniture. There's different brightly colored end tables stacked on top of each other like a sculpture. There's a lot to take in, a lot going on.
This feels like a culmination of multiple moves where you've packed things up and then now you're unpacking everything in one location, and it's like none of this stuff goes together.
Her problem is she walks into a showroom, and if she finds something that looks like it would be in a modern art museum, she buys it. But then these things don't go well together. Yeah,
because it's always, ooh, that's interesting. It's interesting to me right now in this moment. Yeah. I'm going to buy it and then try to fit it into my life.
It's like you have a couple of conversation pieces, not every item in the room.
She's got a lot to talk about. She's got a lot of conversations to be had. So she's having her interior designer over to help kind of reel this in. Let's get some focus on our entire aesthetic that we're going for here.
So this is the part that I related to because they've moved into this house 2 years ago, she said, and they still haven't decorated the majority of it.
Mazel. How did we feel about singular mazel, no tav?
It's confusing. You know what? You have confused design companies that now just put mazel on things.
Yeah. But it is something that we can heavily relate to, for our walls are just as barren.
Oh, yeah. If we can move out of this house in the middle of the night because there's so little to pack.
There's just, you box it up and you're ready to go. We don't have a lot going on when it comes to interior design, elements, furniture, things on the walls.
The chair sculpture. We don't have one. Thank goodness.
Well, yeah.
They're unpacking. I thought it was just a bunch of chairs in a crate. But then we find out they are stacked and glued to one another.
And it's tall. This is very imposing.
I didn't like it. It looked like it's going to collect a lot of dust. It's confusing. I don't really understand what it's saying.
Is that the point of the piece? Are we just supposed to explore what this is doing to my mental health by looking at this?
You know what upset me more? The stairs. The stairs with no railing.
No railing, yeah.
She's just hoping that Todd falls down them. He's going to take a tumble one day.
She's
going to collect
up.
that life insurance policy.
And we got a staircase sequel here, a brewing. No owls necessary.
I don't have anything else on them.
Just her daughter, Gwen?
Oh, whatever. She's got a daughter named Gwen.
Yes, thank you.
Not Todd's, someone else's.
Well, yeah, from a former relationship, previous relationship, and they are a little too close. So I think that they were kind of sprinkling in some of that to set the stage for some more drama for her later this season, because Gwen is going away to college and it's going to personally wound her when she does that. So we'll prepare for the fallout.
Heather and Whitney?
Yes, they are not in Sedona, but they are embracing the woo-woo, the heavy woo-woo.
You can confuse everyone who doesn't listen to the other episodes.
They're getting some crystals.
Yeah. Well, Heather lures Whitney to come talk to her about the fallout from the party by offering to buy her crystals.
I don't think they were buying any full geodes because Robin Brown probably cleared them out beforehand.
She's just calling everywhere she possibly can to find geodes.
In the surrounding states.
Amethysts.
Everything. I need it all. But I feel like this conversation, it was more about Heather kind of checking Whitney a little bit, because she was basically saying, hey, you kind of overstepped on some of this stuff too, and you were making ridiculous claims. There was an apology that was had, so I feel like they did end up on common ground a little bit there, but it was sort of a slow your roll, kind of a warning that she was heeding as well.
Heather does tell Whitney that, you know, it feels sometimes lately like you are telling people that you just have to deal with your personality and how you talk to them, because this is just part of your healing journey, and that's the thing that's rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah, because just saying that you're on a healing journey doesn't mean that you get a free pass to be a dick to everybody because you're dealing with stuff. So I think that's maybe the part of it that's hard to deal with. And so, yeah, pointing out that 3 of your friends have brought this up, so maybe some self-examination is in order.
Then we find out that Trixie has invited Whitney to come to Milwaukee to host a drag show, and that Whitney's planning to invite the other ladies.
TBD on the guest list, but she does have a few folks narrowed down, and Bronwyn is definitely on that list, much to Heather's surprise, because from her conversation with Bronwyn and Lisa, it sounded like Bronwyn was kind of shitting on Whitney.
So why didn't Heather bring it up now?
See, that would have been the more appropriate time, but I don't know why. Yeah, she held on to that a little too long.
It backfires on her.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to use that as something very devastating that is going to be revealed, but it ends up kind of turning against it. It makes her look bad, actually.
Well, before we get there, we're going to Meredith's house because she's calling the kids downstairs. She has got all kinds of ingredients spread out on the counter because she's going to be hand making bath bombs.
This is becoming a very big part of her storyline and her character in general.
It was really weird because she even mentions that she has a lab who's working on this, but she's going to add apple cider and...
Apple cider vinegar, not apple cider. not just apple cider.
That might be the secret ingredient.
Maybe.
She's mixing together baking soda and apple cider vinegar and all kinds of other stuff to hand make bath bombs at home.
Yeah, I don't know why she's paying a lab to come up with a recipe, but then she's working on her own to then tell the lab what to make instead.
How fucked up was she in this scene?
Oh, well, I did really appreciate her Whitney impersonation, though. Very much so.
You liked that, huh?
I was enjoying that quite thoroughly. I
feel like it's because when she's on something, she slows down a little bit, and it helps her really get into the impression.
Helps her become the character that she's going to portray here. What I didn't like were all those little finger gloves, what everybody was wearing. It was just individual...
I didn't notice
coverings on their fingers when they were working with stuff.
Little finger condoms?
I think so, but at that point, if you're going to wear 4 individual finger condoms, why don't you just
put a glove on?
Just put a glove on then.
Were they finger condoms or were they those little things on Amazon where it's a hand on top of your finger?
No, it's not the hand on the tip of the finger. It was a covering that was the entire finger, but it was for their
the
four
whole
fingers,
finger?
not the thumb. Yeah, and it was the entire finger. So again, at that point, when do you discern that I have reached the need for hand coverage where a glove would be more sufficient?
I don't know, but
My threshold is a lot lower than 4 finger condoms.
I mean, I hope she puts benzos in these because that's the thing that makes her bath so good.
It gets really frothy sometimes.
Oh, she tells the kids about the bat mitzvah.
She breaks the bat mitzvah news, and most of it is just met with confusion. It's just, at your age?
Chloe had to make sure, just like you do when you have a 13-year-old who expresses interest in having a bat or a bar mitzvah, you're not doing this just for gifts and money, right?
It's good to clarify. You have to know.
I say it's a big benefit usually, so
it's enticing. It is.
And I wonder what theme she's going to have for her bat mitzvah.
I feel like the gifts should be better if you're in your late 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're doing this. I feel like the gifts should improve.
That's what you do. You wait until your friends have more money so that they can buy you something a little nicer.
Gifts.
I guarantee it's just so that she can give everyone a bath bomb as a party favor. Write it down.
This is a marketing
ploy?
That
is 1,000%. First of all, the theme for every table is going to have to be different baths. And then you're going to receive a bath bomb because she's going to need to promote her new line.
Imagine making baths your entire identity. I never agreed with Mary Cosby more than in the first episode when she was like, I don't do baths. I don't trust baths. Baths are not for me. And that's something I can get on board with.
Well, I love that they find it particularly offensive that she rents and she uses the bathtub because you just don't know how clean it is because you're not the one who's been taking care of it. And that is a good point. You don't know. Have those jets been cleaned out lately?
You're not supposed to put
Maybe
bubbles.
She has mold poisoning.
Oh, God. It always comes back to mold with everything. But yeah, and you're not supposed to put bubbles in a jet tub. Jacuzzi tubs, you're not supposed to put bubbles in there.
No, remember the time we were on vacation and I made the jacuzzi explode?
That was in Jamaica, right?
Do you remember that? And I couldn't turn it off.
Well, you could have turned it off. You did not react very quickly. You just kind of continued to watch it spray up to the ceiling.
Bathtubs in other places are the worst. They're so hard to figure out. Remember the other one I couldn't figure out how to drain it.
Yeah, I need home field advantage when it comes to tubs.
You really need to test it out before you get too involved in the whole bath.
Well, honestly, there's a lot of showers that were complicated too. When we were in Paris, that shower.
Well, European showers,
Yeah.
Figuring out how to get in there is perplexing.
I think that was the scary part because it was all glass door.
The little half door.
And then it was like you couldn't open it and you had to slide into it. I don't know. I feel like I was missing something in that. But yeah, I feel like I need to know what's going on before I get involved. There's a couple of showers that have been confusing too.
Before you turn the water on, you got to figure out what you're getting into.
Yeah, and you have to know where your emergency stops are here.
All right, so Heather and Brittany are going to play pickleball. Do you know how long it took me to realize they were playing pickleball?
You didn't know it was pickleball?
I wasn't automatically, I assumed that they were playing tennis.
It's not tennis. Well, you can play it's on the tennis court.
I was not visually recognizing that they were playing pickleball. My brain replaced it with tennis rackets.
Oh, no. See, it's an auditory thing for me because pickleball sounds different than tennis, too.
All right. Who knows that?
Echolalia. It's in there.
Well, they don't know the rules. So that's the biggest problem.
It doesn't help. It's hard to play a game if you don't know the rules because that's kind of the basis of any game. Is usually there's a couple of rules that you have to follow.
Was there anything interesting here? The only thing that I took away from it was Heather talking about how Mormonism tends to create women who value the relationship with their husband above all else because your husband is your ticket into heaven.
You need a husband to get into heaven, so you have to prioritize that relationship. That becomes your most important relationship on earth. See, Heather was giving me Veronica from Plathville vibes in this segment.
Was the Veronica vibes?
It was a little bit. I think it was just probably the bow in her hair.
Oh.
And then, we were doing some activity. But also it just felt like if Veronica was a little bit more confident, and by a little bit, I mean significantly more confident, she could be in this Heather space.
Oh, all right. Someone should let her know.
I don't think so, though. I think the main reason for this segment, it wasn't so much a focus on Heather. It was mostly about Brittany and how she's damaged goods.
Well, we find out that Brittany has some issues in her relationships in her life, particularly with her kids, because of the fact that she has prioritized men time and time again.
And she's not really great history of relationships either. She's been divorced multiple times. She didn't use the term trauma bond correctly, so that was kind of uncomfortable for me too.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk on the show about your trauma being used against you, trauma bonding, but from people who don't necessarily totally understand what they're talking about.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Well, we're going to head over to Angie's Salon.
Not Jizz.
Not Jizz. What was the name of this place? It had an interesting name. I Googled it because I wanted to see the reviews.
It's not as memorable as Jizz.
I thought it was strange when she said they're opening their 10th location. So I looked it up.
I thought I misheard when she said 10th location.
No, they're in multiple states.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes more sense because I was like, 10 of them in Salt Lake?
And I was like, how do you manage 10 salons?
Business is booming.
Seems like a lot of work.
There's a lot of demand. Yeah.
We managed 2 podcasts and we're barely getting through it.
I am drowning over here. But I think this just ends up being, it's mostly Angie just starting shit. It's Bronwyn. Bronwyn's kind of starting the shit.
Well, she came here to get a free haircut.
That's the main goal here.
Which I understand,
It's worth it.
Got to get pampered when you can.
If you're going to talk to Angie, you might as well get a scalp massage and a haircut while you're there.
It's so funny, though, the way Angie talks when she's in the salon. You can tell, she's got that, I just hanging around the salon, chatting it up with the customers type thing. She seems like she's good at that.
She got into that mode.
She should stick to that. She's not really good at talking to these other women on the show.
Okay, yeah.
She's got the fake customer service thing going on.
Maybe that's what she was doing with... Is that what she's gaining success with Mary Cosby then? In this season, just from that sort of exchange? She's being an attentive customer service agent for Mary?
You know what? that probably is what's resonating with Mary.
It's working. Yeah.
She wants to be treated like your best customer.
And she has immediately shown value to you. Yes. I thought it was pretty rich when Bronwyn was bringing up how Brittany is very clunky in conversation and how it's triggering Bronwyn's trust issues with women, having relationships with other women that she can communicate with openly and freely. I thought that was pretty rich based on the double talk that we were served with so far in this episode.
I think her point, though, was Brittany's dumb, and I don't like dumb people. Particularly, I've been surrounded by women who have not been able to handle my personality who are similar to Brittany, which is that condescending.
Call me a dumb woman. Yeah, because I find Bronwyn pretty insufferable myself.
Oh, I didn't really enjoy how she is making her way around the group, telling everyone what they want to hear.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I thought that was very interesting.
Well, put a pin in that, because we are all heading out to a day of fun planned by Heather for, sorry, was this ziplining? Did I make that up?
Ziplining. This is I believe it's
what's referred to. It was a ropes course?
I think it's referred to as a ropes course.
It was at a ziplining place, though, wasn't it? Or did I just totally make that up?
I think you're making up the ziplining stuff. There were, cables and ropes and spanning suspensions that were happening there, but there was no zip lining. It was all very manual process where you're kind of walking across these different, traversing these obstacles sort of scenarios.
Well, the majority of the group walks up and it already is like, oh, God, why have to do something physical?
Well, not everyone can participate either, because Meredith immediately is letting us know she's going to have to sit this one out. And I thought she was going to say it's because she just recently had another breast reduction surgery.
Me too. And then she brought up she has tennis elbow.
Tennis elbow from churning too much butter.
That was a joke from last season.
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think she has tennis elbow. I don't think that's the cause here. I think she did have another breast reduction surgery between
just say it.
Last episode and this episode.
We won't judge you. I mean, we will, but Mary is worried she's going to fall to her death, which was relatable. And Lisa and Meredith, they don't want to walk through the dirt and the mud. So we're off to a great start. Why can't they just sit and film them in restaurants every single episode?
Well, that's
what they want to do.
They're going to do that eventually, but we have to get some other stuff in the meantime here.
They're like, could we get something to eat? Could we get our hair done? Could we go to Heather's salon to get Botox? Could we go to Swig and get a soda?
No, we already did a lot of this stuff because Lisa already got a soda when she was talking to Angie. And
right,
Bronwyn,
we're quickly crossing these things off the list.
Bronwyn already did the salon chat with Angie. A lot of these got used up on Angie too. So, yeah, we're going to have to go do something miserable, and you're just going to have to suffer through it. It just kind of is what it is. So some people, there's like encouragement. Some people are enjoying it. A lot of people are just hating it. And we had a couple of Code 1 removals that were requested along the way too, which
1,000% would have been me.
That is when I feel like that's worse. When I get into that situation where now I'm like on the course.
No, my legs stop working, so I need someone to physically come retrieve me.
Once I'm buckled, I feel like I zone out after a little while. You just stop thinking about it.
No.
And then you just keep going. Have you ever done a ropes course?
Corey, you have seen me go 3 steps up a ladder.
Yeah, you did get a little wobbly on that.
That's as far as I'm going. That's as much height as I'm getting.
I almost broke a ropes course one time.
What?
That was in college. It was a team building activity. And,
how did you almost break it?
Okay, so there was a cargo net part. I'm not a small figured gentleman. So when somebody said, all right.
I mean, you're also not that large of a person.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some heft to me.
But you just ripped the cargo net off?
No. I didn't rip anything off. So you like stand on these platforms, and then there's like an obstacle that you interact with. So there was a cargo net that then you would climb up, and it would take you to like a higher platform where you could do other things. There were other bridges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at one point, I was on the platform, and then it was my turn to like get onto the cargo net. I think I had asked, can I just jump onto it? And people were like, yeah, sure, go for it. And so I did, because a lot of people were being like very cautious and careful and like, oh, I'm reaching over and grabbing the cargo net and pulling it to me. And I was like, I'll just jump to it and hang on. And so I jumped, and the whole structure, I'm talking everything, swayed because it's all like interconnected on all these platforms and stuff.
Oh my God.
So everybody who was doing everything else, it was like
Did
a
they all get
shockwave.
jolted?
Well, yeah, it was like a shockwave that just took off through the entire course.
That's horrifying.
Well, a little bit, yeah. A little bit for me, too.
It's a little bit of a
Just gonna
self-esteem
say,
ding.
yeah, a little bit. I recovered eventually. I was able to climb my way up.
That's very scary.
But yeah, it happened.
Wow.
We're learning a lot.
I didn't really like watching this because it was too hard to tell who anybody was.
It was. Yeah, I needed not subtitles. It was name cards.
They were doing that, but it didn't televise well.
Because you couldn't have a camera operator up there. And I mean, they did have like GoPro footage too, but that was all just grainy and very misaligned. You couldn't really tell what was going on. So then it just ends up with these like telescopic zoom from a mile away. And it's just, it's not compelling to watch. But then everybody starts referring to stuff as being in positioning for hand jobs and blowjobs. I don't know how we got onto that topic.
Because they're bored.
Yeah, there's nothing else to really go with here. So we have to kind of...
They've got Meredith's tennis elbow on their mind.
Right, yeah. It's a little odd.
The food truck. We end up eating after this.
Well, it was harder than childbirth, according to Lisa. So yeah, I think they've earned a treat here. So they're going to go over to the food truck where Mary is going to order a quesadilla.
A quesadilla. No salsa.
It will make her too gassy.
Just beans and cheese.
She's loading up.
The beans and the cheese might be what's doing it.
Yeah, I don't think we can blame that on the salsa this time. IBSD strikes again. And honestly, we should feel bad for Angie because she's the one who she's riding home with after this.
Oh.
So that's going to be the
Good
real
luck.
big problem.
You can't tell anybody what happened in that car.
No. Yeah, we're going to see how trustworthy Angie is when she divulges how many farts were displaced after this quesadilla.
She's going to have to get her car detailed after that. The weirdest thing about this, everybody sits down and Brittany stands up and starts to make a toast to herself.
I don't understand.
What happened here?
I don't understand what the goal was.
To get the attention on her. Because she's not, I think she learned from the first dinner that they can't wait to jump down each other's throats and everyone is really loud. So you're never going to get a word in unless you make a big announcement.
Either that or you have to be fun or interesting. And I don't think Brittany is either of those things. So then she's trying to get people to congratulate her for going Instagram official by her definition with this Osmond that she's been with.
Right. This is Donnie and Marie's, was it a nephew?
Nephew?
Something like that?
I think so.
Anyway, the guy who had broken up with her, or she broke up with him, whatever, they weren't together in the last episode, they went to Costco together. And he posts a picture on Instagram saying he's enjoying being at Costco with his bestie.
Sometimes, yeah, you have to just push your best friend around in a cart at Costco.
And that is, to her, a declaration of love that they are together because he doesn't post other women on his Instagram page.
So then we get a reality check because Mary's the first one to tell you, why should I care?
My thoughts exactly.
I will speak for the audience on this. Mary Cosby just says it plainly. I don't understand why I would have any investment in this storyline. So why are you speaking in this manner? So that part I agreed with. And then Lisa chimes in where she's like, honey, the bigger concern is this is not Instagram official. So if that's what you've defined as Instagram official, he's not saying that you're his girlfriend or that he loves you. There is no statement of intent behind this post.
She doesn't want to listen to that part of it, so she just starts arguing with Mary.
Yeah, we can't.
That's really what it comes down to.
I can't assess the other side of that.
Lisa also threw out the thing about how, back off of her. She doesn't have a good relationship with her kids. They're estranged. And that's when Mary really digs in.
Oh, my God. So, no, yeah, it was, it's bad because Whitney was agreeing with Lisa about hey, I don't think that counts based on the Instagram post.
Oh, the boyfriend thing.
The boyfriend thing. And then yeah, it just becomes huge issues with immediate family. Brittany has 2 daughters who don't talk to her. And so then all of the mommy issues around the table start getting triggered.
Oh, that's a statement, Corey.
Well, that was Mary said, word for word. She said, this reminds me very much of my mother, who was very focused on men and left her kids at home to go.
Well, she already didn't like Brittany, so this just added to the list of reasons that she was done with her.
If she needed an excuse, which she didn't, but she'll take it. Yeah, I'll take a reason to not like her. It's just very hard to take Mary seriously, though, when she's constantly fighting with this yellow hood.
Yeah, it was just falling on and
it's just
falling
drooping
over her eyes, and then it was falling off, and she was really struggling with it between that and the sunglasses.
It's running wild.
I'm glad that she spoke for the audience, though, because I don't care. We met you 1 episode ago. Why are you standing up making announcements?
It was oddly out of place. Just it did not make sense for the day. And then Bronwyn is kind of doubling down now on this, where as part of the Mary and Brittany argument that's happening, that's how Bronwyn kind of gets looped in on this, because she's still recovering from their first interaction in episode 1, where then she's basically saying, this isn't a good look for you, Brittany, because everything about you that I've heard and that you are telling us just sounds chaotic.
Yeah, she starts coming for Brittany. And Heather sees her opportunity that she has apparently been sitting on since they went to the crystal store. And she decides to jump on her in front of the whole group about how she's been telling everyone different stories and that she's two-faced.
To be fair, Heather probably feels a little bit responsible because she brought Brittany here into this friend group, and I don't think Brittany knew what she was signing up for.
I don't think that she was doing this to try to distract from the conversation going poorly for Brittany.
I feel like Heather was defending Brittany in the only way she knew how, and it was by pointing to Bronwyn's BS instead. We have to redirect because clearly Brittany does not know how to get out of this and to shift the heat away from her and move on. It has to go to somebody else. We have to focus the attention somewhere else.
Well, unfortunately for Heather, it really doesn't have the type of impact that she was expecting, because Whitney is like, okay, well, you're seeing that as two-faced, but the things that you're saying Bronwyn said to you in the car, she said to me too. So that's not two-faced, because she's saying these things to everyone, including the person that they're about.
And it was in a joking manner, too, about the over-the-top things that Whitney said as part of her departure, getting kicked out of Lisa's Bezos party. Those are the types of things, the reactions that were being shared. So maybe Heather should have brought this to Whitney ahead of time, individually, and ran it by her, because then she would have found out, no, yeah, we've talked about those things. It's not a big deal.
So Whitney was the first one to speak up, and then right away, Angie and Lisa start backing Bronwyn up about how you can have a change of heart and that they don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So this is all going very badly for Heather because she thought that she was outing someone in front of the group. And instead, everyone's trying to, I guess, say that Heather's overreacting or doesn't know what she's talking about.
And it's only adding to Bronwyn's credibility at this point, which makes me nervous.
You in particular?
Me, personally.
You really don't like her, huh?
I just sense there's something about her.
All right.
We'll
see how it plays out.
Something's cooking. Something's brewing.
It just evolves into Lisa and Whitney yelling at each other about who's the shittier friend. We did get the Gretchen Wiener's quote of, I was such a good friend out of Lisa. That's what she's not really understanding why Whitney would turn on her like this, because she was always a good friend to her. And Whitney knows she's got to apologize to Lisa or Lisa's just never going to shut up.
So there was an apology for the podcast. This is the point where Meredith was considering maybe she should interject for Whitney to throw an apology her direction too, because...
For the bath bombs? Is that what she's waiting on an apology for?
She can't let that go. She's still hanging on.
Well, she needs to clarify, though, because at the party last week, Whitney told her, I have always sold bath bombs. It's not like it's a new product that I introduced after you decided that baths were your thing.
And that was something that she was complaining to her kids about when they were coming up with their own homemade recipe in the kitchen, was how ridiculous this claim was, because she has no recollection
So
of that.
she still believes it. Then why did she back off so easily at the party?
Right? Well, and then
Did
here...
she investigate it? Because if you know something more about the bath bombs, you need to just come right out with it.
And same thing here, where she's like, I still feel like I need an apology, but I'm just going to go ahead and table that for now. And it's like, because you don't actually care, because you know that it's not real.
Well, because everybody else got more attention right now. So she's got to wait until she gets to start something, which hopefully will be on this trip to Milwaukee, because I guess Whitney decided that this has gone so well that she's going to invite all of the ladies to come on the trip to Milwaukee with her.
Lisa did not look excited, because they will be hosting a drag night at Trixie's bar in Milwaukee. And we know Lisa had some makeup issues on their last drag trip.
If they have to participate, she's going to make sure she's got the right glam squad with her this time. Wasn't the problem? It was that she paid someone to do her makeup, and she was upset that they wouldn't let her use the person that she paid
Correct.
to do her makeup.
That is exactly what the issue was.
Do it for the challenge that they did.
Yeah. Even though it was like, well, we're not trying to like look our best. Like, we're going for a particular look.
Well,
here.
and
You know what I'm saying?
everyone did their own makeup.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not a natural beauty sort of look that we're going for, or like a cover of Vogue thing. It is like a theatrical sort of over the top makeup look that we're going with here.
I don't think she knows how to do her makeup.
I don't think she does. Yeah.
I don't think that she knows how to open up a mascara. Like she must know how. She really was just very offended by that. So
baseline, was not there.
She's not the one who really has a problem with the trip, though. It's Meredith, who is questioning whether she'll come or not, because this is Whitney's trip, and she still has not gotten an apology from Whitney.
There is a bathtub, but Meredith is still TBD on her RSVP.
And that's where we leave them this week. Teeing up for another girls' trip. The first one this season.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to hit the casino, so that'll be cool. They're going to
go to a Bucks game.
They're
doing all the Milwaukee things. Are they going to get cheese curds? Can Mary Cosby consume those?
We might need to have a bathroom break immediately following. Yeah, we have to be careful. But then also, Meredith is going to have some Meredith Marks Whitney price gouging situations here. She cannot let go of this bath bomb thing.
Oh no, she's got a lawyer investigating every change that's ever been made to Whitney's website. That has to be what's going on. She got a private investigator on this, and she knows the bath bombs are new. I can't wait for her to reveal that.
A bath bombshell.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
To everyone else, this is a task. But to you, this is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G5G for $29.99 at boostmobile.com. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. Moto G5G for $29.99 when you switch with a new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Online only. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit boostmobile.com for details.
If there's one thing that my family and friends know me for, it's being an amazing gift giver. I owe it all to Celebrations Passport from 1-800-Flowers.com, my one-stop shopping site that has amazing gifts for every occasion. With Celebrations Passport, I get free shipping on thousands of amazing gifts. And the more gifts I give, the more perks and rewards I earn. To learn more and take your gift giving to the next level, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.